Well, hello, my friend. It feels so weird to be recording after so long. I have been meaning to give you a life update, and I think now is a good time, space, and place for me to do that. I've got a lot to cover, so this might be a great episode to put on your headphones, take a walk, clean your house, and let's just have a girl chat. As always, when I do these types of podcast episodes, my favorite part of putting out a podcast episode is when I get a DM on Instagram from one of you that is talking to me about what I talked about, and we carry on our own conversation. It kind of feels like a behind the scenes type of combo, but we're both on the same page because you're a podcast listener. And so I am recording this. I'm going to get it up and out to you in a really timely way and just have it be a good old fashioned girl check in. I did put a question box up and out on my Instagram. I'll get to those questions at the end if there is any, but I did just kind of post it. And sometimes really good questions come in 20 hours after I've posted it. And when that happens, I will privately answer your questions. So if I didn't get to your question, it might have just been because I recorded this way too quickly after posting that question box. Does that make sense? I'm already feeling really, really rambly, but let's get started and let's just chat. So we're in July, we're in the midst of summer for us here in the Midwest, and I think everywhere. And I have just some thoughts on from our last podcast episode where I shared with you guys that I was starting a new job and we were ending out the school year. And if you haven't listened to that episode, just go to the one before this, and that will catch you up if you're hearing that for the first time. But we made it through April and May. The kids were in a really good groove. It actually wasn't too much of a big schedule change for them when it came to me starting at my job, because it is a job that is work during the hours that they are at school. And so not a whole lot changed for them as far as routine and structure. And we've done, they're just really great kids. So they know, and we're very much prepared for what that entailed with me becoming a working mom, and just really grateful how this school year went for the kids. They had really amazing teachers, and summer started with June, the kickoff of baseball, and we were at the baseball field the majority of June and July. Yeah, June and July. It was baseball, 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 baseball. Very, very quick and easy dinners. You guys. I have done barely any cooking this summer. We have had very much leftovers and repeat quick meals that now that baseball is over, I'm actually really excited to have some evenings open after work where I can come home from work, decompress, make a good dinner, clean a little bit, and have some space and time for all of that stuff. And we're getting into a groove with all of that, but baseball was just really good. We had a really great group of teammates and coaches for both of the boys' teams, and all of them are volunteer coaches. And so it's just worked out that we've been lucky to get on really, really great teams. The boys definitely improve year over year. They enjoy themselves. They learn a lot of life lessons when it comes to sporting events. I am a big advocate for kids and activities because it just innately teaches a lot of life skills, a lot of life lessons, a lot of things to navigate through that will carry into adulthood. I'm definitely the type of parent that I try to look through the lens of I am raising kids to be adults. And yes, that sometimes means we have higher expectations on our kids. We don't let a whole lot slide, and sometimes I'm like shaking my own head of like, oh, did I make a mountain out of a molehill and they're just kids and I needed to let that go. But in the scope of things, like I'm trying to always remember, like this is, especially with the boys getting older, like this is training for becoming an independent individual. And I really think sports, activities, all of those things can teach kids a lot, a lot, a lot. It's not the only way, obviously, but I started at my new job. I've been there 4 months now, and we're going to have an honest conversation with it because it's been really great for me, period. And a lot of people have said, like, oh, do you miss your freedom? Do you miss that you have to be there? Or you have to ask for time off, or, all of those things that I feel like in my 20s, and especially with online entrepreneurship, I want to use the word indoctrinated with, because I know I heard them, I said them, I felt them. And yes, to an extent, that is true. Like for me to not show up on Monday morning at 8 a.m. to the time that I'm there for and scheduled for, I would have to report to somebody about it. But that just hasn't been what online entrepreneurship has made it out to be. And I'm going to, because I really don't think I can articulate this well, I'm going to refer you to one of my podcast production clients, Molly Asplin. She has a very, very well articulated podcast episode that entrepreneurship is not the ultimate freedom that it paints itself out to be. And I used to be one of those people that painted online entrepreneurship to be the best thing ever and highlight all the perks of it and glamorize it. Why? Because there was a trade-off. When I was in network marketing, it was because somebody joined my team. When I was doing stuff with hormone health and fitness coaching, nutrition stuff, it was so that somebody hired me. With really promoting myself as a podcast producer, it was to acquire podcast clients. Now, I really think like podcast production started to make that shift for me because I was serving a client. And I really, like, if you're really just like, what? Like, online entrepreneurship has always been my dream, or I always have thought that it's the greatest thing ever. And while it has its positives, it also has its negatives, just like having a job, just like being self-employed, just like network marketing, just like anything else. There's positives and negatives. It's about choosing what is best for you in this season and leaning into developing professionally in a structured career, because I do believe what I'm doing now is a chapter 1, and it's not going to be what I'm doing how many years till retirement. It's not going to be the same thing that I'm doing until retirement. Like, I believe in myself. I know I can develop skills personally, professionally, but right now I'm really happy with where I'm at. I'm really happy with where I'm at because it really fits well in this season of life. And that's for me personally, me professionally, as well as for my family. And online entrepreneurship and what Molly talks about in that episode that just wasn't fitting right for me anymore was it didn't feel very long-term for me anymore. Like when I looked when I really looked at the pipeline of online entrepreneurship and just how it feels for me and what I predict is going to be shifting in the industry, it just didn't seem like a long-term plan for me. And that was something that was starting to become important to me. Not saying that's not, I don't get it twisted. Like, I am not yucking somebody else's yum. I'm saying in the beginning of Q1, you guys, I went on a very, very deep personal experience internally to make sure that I was in alignment with what was true to me and my faith in God and in Jesus to guide my next steps. So this is not to say there's not going to be an online industry. There is 100%. I'm saying when I felt into what was next for me, the online industry didn't seem like the path, right? And that comes with online entrepreneurships, comes with positives. Yes, like I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it also comes with negatives. And those negatives of always being on and always like being in a influx. And then, because if any online entrepreneur tells you there isn't peaks and valleys in everything in their online business, whether that be income, revenue, customers, social media engagement, downloads, when it comes to podcasts, like there's going to be fluctuations. And with all that I handle, it just was not right for my season anymore. Once again, going to point you to Molly's episode on the High Performers podcast, because she really, really talks about the very like state of the union way of online entrepreneurship is not the ultimate freedom that it paints it out to be. Yes, it does have these perks, but also there's this other camp that we as online entrepreneurs demonized, like straight up demonized. And now I'm doing a lot of internal reflection of like, okay, I was told that in my 20s, but that's not necessarily true. So with being at my job for about 4 months now, I'm getting into the groove of my tasks and also still obviously learning a lot of new things. I really do like that. I'm really grateful for that. I really do feel like the leadership there has been really great in not necessarily offloading tasks, but like onboarding, teaching, giving one thing and then the next thing, like layering on responsibilities. That has felt really, really, really good. I really enjoy leaving my house. I really enjoy going into the office, you guys. I just do. I know it's still new. I know it's still novel. I know I've only been doing this 4 months. Like, I do enjoy leaving the house. I do have a really great group of coworkers. Like, shout out to them. I don't know if you listen, I'm kind of embarrassed, but like, you know who you are. And it's great. It's been really great. And the next thing, I did peek at the questions that were coming in on Instagram, and one of them was about routines. Like, how has the routine been for the kids, and how has been my routine with starting my job? And I've always been a morning person. Like you guys know that about me. I've always been a morning person. So the transition, and even as somebody who is self-employed, I still very much valued like waking up, working out, getting myself ready for the day, because I knew I showed up better as a podcast producer by doing that. I worked for years with Jamie Baker, a stylist, to help me develop a personal sense of style that felt good for this body that I'm in, right? We're going to go into health and fitness update once again. But so the routine for me has been wake up, work out, get ready, go to work. I think the only difference for me is remembering to pack a lunch and remembering to pack food, that type of stuff. But I had a basis of already like waking up, working out, and getting ready for the day. And so while I used to be able to take like 2 hours to do that, now it's condensed down to an hour. It still was pretty quickly, easily. I was really easily able to roll into that. And then same with the kids. I mean, last summer, the kids, for social reasons, I had a huge podcast client load last summer. I had so many podcast clients last summer that they did go to they did have a day camp program that they went to. They weren't home with me 24/7 all the time, even last summer. So this summer, it was just not a choice. They had to have that type of care. I needed to have that type of very much regularity in our routine. I know for some people, nannies work out for them. For others, they do a mix of like family and whatnot. But with starting a new job, I really needed to prioritize the reliability. Just knowing like this is a establishment that has hours of operations with multiple staff, and I can rely on that. They know the days that they are closed way in advance in the summer, so nothing really has popped up thus far this summer. And that was the same thing my kids did last year. So once again, that routine for them has been pretty easy. I'm also kind of grateful for it because getting up and out the door will also help getting back into the back to school routine. They've been in this type of routine since they were 2 and 4 years old when they started going to a daycare that was amazing, awesome, and wonderful. And we miss her all the time. So I've always been somebody that has been into systems and routines, and it has made life transitions like this fairly easy. Now, saying this makes it all sound butterflies and rainbows. And I want to tell you, like, it's not. I have loosened the ropes on a lot of things. I have dropped the ball. You guys, in 2025, when the Beachbody business had said like they're dissolved, I was just doing podcast production work. I went full on, I'm going to be the best homemaker in the whole entire world. I had cleaning routine, scheduled deep cleaning for every single day, like Holly homemaker times a million is what I was in 2025. And I would have home cooked meals all the time, plated and ready for my husband when he walked in the door when he does walk in the door at the end of the day. And I have not been like that as much. Our house is messier. It's more cluttered. It's more disorganized. I have to really pick an area and deep clean that area and know that it's not going to be clean all at once. And we've had things like our clothes washing machine go out, and we've had our refrigerator have issues. And it's been just kind of a mix of everything. So I just want you to know things are not perfect over here, but I'm also not expecting that of myself anymore. And I think that's been another really great lesson. Just honestly, I think with age, where even when the kids were toddlers, I wanted to have a picked up house, perfectly clean and spotless every single night. And that's not the case. Like, I used to seriously reset. And I really think I actually needed that for that season because we woke up and we were home all day, you know? But now it's like moderately tidy is just fine by me for now in this season, especially when it was like we were waking up, we were going to work, I was getting the kids, we were getting something to eat really quick. Then we had baseball. And then once we got home from baseball, it was already really late. And to get showered and wind down for the night, it's like I just had to learn to let some things go. And that's a-okay too. So that's been my current routine is wake up, work out, get ready, go to work, come home. Like, it's so regular, but there is so much goodness in it. And I still very much practice the habit of the gap and the gain of at the end of each day. I don't write it down necessarily every evening, but every evening I think of 3 wins or 3 things that went really, really well at the end of the day. And that just feels so good on the nervous system, because it could be something in parenting that we talked about with one of the kids, or it could be, if one of my kids had a really great hit at baseball, or something at work, or something personally, or something in a marriage. There's just more fullness to life. And that has just felt really, 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 really good. And next, I wanted to talk about a little bit and share my current routine as it comes to like the specifics of my workout, because I've made a lot of progress, and I don't mean by in my weight loss. I've actually just been maintaining, and I've done a lot of reflecting food wise again. It's not anything new that I've said here on the podcast before, that it's not the working out that's hard for me, it's the nutrition. And I think I'm starting to peel back layers on why nutrition has been hard for me and how I can actually make sure that I'm making changes that'll lead to lifelong change and not have it feel very restrictive, not have it feel very like crazy to manage losing the weight and then keeping it off. But workouts has been a very, very huge change for me, because I'm somebody who does love to lift weights and have lifted weights for a very, very, very long time. But in mid-March of 2026, I threw out my back really bad, really bad. I had woken up in the middle of the night one time, like I had thrown out my back that day, and I had been laying around doing what I couldn't get into the chiropractor, but I just took it easy. And then that night I woke up to go to the bathroom, and I fell to my knees and could not get back up and walk back to bed. I had to slowly, in a lot of pain, crawl back to bed. Maybe this is more beginning of March. And I knew that this was around also when I was interviewing for my job. Okay. So the timelines is kind of blurry because I had a lot going on. I also was getting a biopsy done on one of my breasts. So there was just a lot going on. I'm sorry for the timeline being jumbly, but it was March, and I knew that the start of my new job was likely going to be happening. And I was like, I cannot do this. Like, I cannot do this anymore. I had been struggling with throwing out my back off and on for probably over 2 years. And I was like, I have to figure this out, and I have to ease up. Because what I would do is I'd throw out my back, and then I did what I could to get it to feeling better. And then I would start weight training again, and it would get thrown out, and it would get agitated and irritated and angry. And it was this constant back and forth. And in March, I was like, I am not going back to lifting weights. Now, I had a lot of mental mind effery about that, because I know the importance of, ladies, we got to lift. We got to be strong. We got, for our bones, for our muscles, for our aging, for our mind, for our metabolism. Like, it is so important. But I had enough evidence over the last 2 years to say my back cannot take this load. Because March, I was like, okay, I can't do this. And so I really just focused on walking and pretty easy, moderate Pilates and bar workouts. I was really focusing on bar, because bar prioritizes doing a pelvic tilt. And what I realized by going to a chiropractor was I had an anterior pelvic tilt. And so I needed to correct that. So I started doing walking and bar, and I was starting to feel better. June, I was like, oh, I'm starting to feel better. Like, I'm back, baby. And I remember one day I picked up weights and I started to do a leg day, and I could just tell, this is not it. I am not going to cause myself to go into a flare. Meanwhile, also in March, I started getting decompression therapy done on a decompression table at my chiropractor. So I started doing that weekly. March, April, May, most of June, I was doing weekly, if not bi-weekly, decompression treatments. And I do think that has made a huge difference. Now I'm This is my first time I'm going to be going a whole month in between chiropractor appointments. Usually I'd only go 2, maybe 3 weeks, but I feel strong enough now where I'm going to be going more monthly as kind of a maintenance, and I go to Peak Chiropractic in Fargo, for those of you wondering. But July, I was starting to feel like I want to challenge myself. And I have seen a couple girls that I followed on TikTok inspire me with their transformations with Pilates by Izzy on YouTube. Now, this type of workout, it is so different because Izzy's workouts are so different than any other type of Pilates I've personally ever done at a pace that I've personally never got to. She teaches and instructs in a different way than I've ever had before. But today I completed day 23 of the Pilates by Izzy 25-day challenge. So tomorrow I'll do 24, Sunday I'll do 25. And I can say I've actually been able to do this challenge and it does not irritate my back, but I can tell I am getting so strong. I can tell that my mind muscle connection is so much better. And I notice that I'm not super, super hungry and famished after these workouts. I really feel like it is doing a lot of great things for my body. Now, my goal after the 25-day challenge, because I'm going to complete it, like I told you, working out has never been the hard part for me. Once I complete this workout challenge, I am going to start doing an alternating, because just with everything, I haven't been good about getting a whole lot of steps in, which I think is a-okay, but I'm going to start doing, like I said, I'll finish the challenge on Monday or on Sunday. Monday, I'll do walking, Tuesday, Pilates, Wednesday, walking, Thursday, Pilates, Friday, kind of my free-for-all day, Saturday, free-for-all day. My goal is to work out 5 to 6 days a week in a way that my body can definitely handle. Could my body handle 5 to 6 days a week of lifting? No, absolutely not. I know that now. I also very much talked to Dr. Emily, who is my chiropractor, like about changing my mindset from what the traditional weight training bodybuilder space was about, like, oh, a back and bicep day and a chest and tricep day and oh, a leg day. And really, even when I get back into weight training and strength training, having really like one progressive overload move and then the rest really being dynamic and athletic for movement and mobility, because I don't know, just with my back, I too just have to prioritize how I feel and how my body moves over the aesthetics. And like, that's so hard for me to say, because especially on right now on social media, it's the Pilates versus strength training girlies being like, strength training is blah, 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 Pilates isn't strength training, Pilates isn't strength training. But for me, I had to shut up all of that stuff that's going around on social media and listen to my chiropractor and listen to my body that is injuring me almost every time I do it. And it's not that I have bad form. Really, what's happening is I have a herniated disc. Okay, so I am working through healing that. And if you follow anybody on social media that is in the midst of herniated disc flares, it is so awful. But I finally feel like I am going to know what to do for my body to not injure myself, because I cannot do that. And then I do want to get back into running again this winter. I really hope that Pilates by Izzy continues to strengthen my calves and my legs and the mobility in my joints and everything like that. So I even start off running stronger than ever, because with Izzy's moves, she does incorporate a lot of stuff for the thighs and for the calves and for the core and everything. Like it is everything, but it is so different than anything I've ever done. Like she's really, really, really great and has tons of free stuff on YouTube, and I want to run again this winter. I want to do that 10K in the spring that I was not able to do because of my back. I did not do the 10K or any sort of races because of my back. I did not want to flare it. I just couldn't, and I'm finally feeling strong enough to do so. And yeah, another anchor of mine has been my Sunday routine, and that is just simply getting groceries and getting a car wash, cleaning out my car and getting gas. I mean, that was important for the routine because of baseball and getting out the door for work and dropping off the kids. Like, I did not want to have an empty tank of gas midweek. So you guys, honestly, every Sunday, fill up your tank. Or every Friday, like, I really think Sunday's the superior day though. Like, go get your gas tank filled up. Even if it's like you're going to go get yourself a coffee and fill up your gas tank and that's your Sunday routine, clean it out a little bit, you're going to be a-okay. Trust me. Like, sometimes cleaning out my car is just getting the junk out of there. And sometimes it's getting the junk out of there and vacuuming and wiping it down. But that's not every Sunday. I just do what I can based on that particular Sunday. But the car goes through the car wash, the car gets gas, the car gets cleaned out. We have groceries, and I food prep as much as I can. Sometimes that's a lot, sometimes that's a little, but that is so solid for my Sundays. What's our plans for the end of summer? August always goes by so fast. It's also a time where I'm like, okay, I'm ready for fall to start happening. I am very much looking forward to fall this year. I am finding I am not made for this heat. Sometimes I get the summer sadness in the sense of, this is just me being kind of silly, but sometimes it kind of sucks not having your own like place to go to. Or we do have friends and family that invite us out to places, but it also would be nice to just have the self-reliancy. And I love hosting. So like, I'm the type of person where like, oh, I'd love to be the one that is like, come over. You guys are always welcome type of thing. And this is, if you know what small town I live in, I'm going to have a small town rant right now. We have a small town pool in our little town, but it is not open on the weekends. And yes, there's probably a reason why. And should I be more understanding of it? Yes, but also I was a lifeguard at a small town pool for at least 5 years, and our pool was open 1 to 5, 6 to 8, 7 days a week. Our small town pool is not open on the weekends, and it's not open in the evenings. So now as a working parent, I'm like, okay, I get the kids a summer pool pass, and they do have a situation that they can go there. But I'm like, what the heck? We are not going to get with the different cancellations because of weather and all this. Like, there were a couple really hot weekends where I'm like, it would just be so nice if our local pool was open. Like, can we not figure out how? Like, I understand there's probably a reason why that the pool is not open on the weekends right now, but can we figure out how can we have some hours of operations on the weekend for community members and for kids in the community? Because I would assume there's so many people like, oh, people go to the lake on the weekend. Well, not everybody has a lake to go to on the weekend. That is there are probably 20% of people that have lake places to go to every weekend in the summer. And there's so many in the community that would go to the pool. And it has irrationally caused a nerve in my body to just be a little bit upset about it. And I just think it's wrong. I do. I think it's wrong that we only have, because it's not even open for the full 3 months of the summer. It's basically 2 months out of the summer. Why can't it be open 7 days a week? We did it in the neighboring town next door. Like, that was significantly smaller with less community members. I don't know. And you might be thinking, Joelle, why don't you go to that pool? Well, that pool was so old, so sad actually. They completely tore it out because it was no longer maintainable. Like for whatever reason, they could not repair it, and so it just had to be leveled. And that was the saddest thing ever to see, where one of my favorite places in the whole wide world in my childhood was just grass. So sad. It was so sad. But yeah, that's my hot take, I guess, for this episode. Is I have a hot take that I would love for my small town pool to be open on the weekends out of the short duration of time that they're open in the summertime. And I guess this is a good time to announce something kind of like personal. Haven't been keeping a secret or anything, but my husband, who does everything all at once, decided he is also going to be running for school board. So if you are local to us, consider voting for him. That would be wonderful and awesome. And also, like, he's wanting to become a member of the school board for the right reasons. If you are local and you want to talk about that, we're happy to, and be an advocate for parents of young kids in the school. Because I think a lot of them, right? Well, there's a couple others that have younger kids too, but he's such a smart guy. He is very solution oriented. He's very logical. He's very practical. He is also he's just very level-headed and doesn't operate off of emotions or popularity or anything like that. He wants to just find solutions, fix it, and do what's best for the majority, I guess. So my husband, out of the many hats that he wears, running for school board and maybe being on the school board, is going to be added to his plate, which is kind of cool. And that is really how we'll end out things. We are going to be going back to Wisconsin Dells as a family for a family vacation. I think just with the kids' ages, it's the perfect place right now for us to go and to spend time as a family. So we'll be doing that in August. A goal that I have for me in August is to continue to eat better and to stop snacking and overeating. I mean, I'm very close to hiring somebody myself, even though I am somebody who is certified in nutrition, was a health and fitness coach for a very long time. Like, I don't know, my friends, I'm still working on all of that. And another goal that I have is to read more. I have not been reading fiction like I used to, just because it just wasn't fitting in the season, but now it will be. So if you have any reading recommendations of, like, you need to tell me, like, this is a must read, not something that was like good. I need to know the must reads, your favorites of new. And I also want to get a new Kindle. So if any of you have like a newer, mine is so old. I bought mine in spring of 2020. And so I don't even know the new models or anything like that. I don't need anything fancy. I just want to read on my Kindle, and that is it. So if you have recommendations for that, let me know, or I'll just use ChatGPT. And we're getting back into the rigmarole of back to school shopping. One of my biggest hacks is I order our kids' school supplies. Our school does set up something on schooltoolbox.com where we can go in, select for our children, and it will ship us what they need for school supplies. Minus backpacks, water bottles. We're already kind of getting into the back to school mode. I do a little bit of shopping. The main thing that I want the kids to pick out for themselves is their shoes. Like shoes is really kind of their tennis shoes to start school off with, but I know what kind of pants my boys like to wear, aka the Reebok joggers from Walmart. Those are my boys' favorites. And then t-shirts, I just try to catch things that they like that are, I think, either on sale or affordable. It's pretty easy for boys though, I think, because you can get good Nike and Adidas stuff at Marshall's. You can find things on clearance. You know, boys wear t-shirts all the time. You can find some good t-shirts. You can look in different hoodie sections. Like, it is easier. But my boys are starting to develop their own little sense of styles, but I'm pretty plain in the sense of I buy a lot of black shorts and a lot of black pants and then just try to get shirts that they can mix and match and they go together no matter what they're grabbing out of their drawers in the morning. And basically, I had a couple other hot takes, but I don't think I'm going to go into those. And we've already been yapping here for over 40 minutes. So I think that's probably plenty, but that's kind of the life update. That's what I've been up to. I guess the one question that I got on here was about cycle syncing still, which is very, very cool and very, very interesting. And my take on cycle syncing now is, remember, when it comes to understanding your cycle, it's just for a better understanding of the body. Like, I know, and cycle syncing as a science is starting to get debunked, which I actually do appreciate. Like, I do appreciate people being like, no, just because your hormones are lower in luteal and menstrual phases doesn't mean you can't get a good workout, because that's what we were told based off of the science. But now it's like there's definitely times you can do great cardio sessions in your luteal phase if it's feeling right for you. But it's just for me, it still just brings a better understanding, more emotionally and energetically. Like, when I am a couple days before my menstrual phase, I now just know, like, if my mental sharpness isn't as sharp, I'm just going to give myself a little bit of grace and do my best. But I'm no longer like changing what activities I do or do not do, or what I eat and do not eat. So the question specifically is, I want to try one new recipe for each phase of my cycle. Any suggestions? Truly, if you're that micro into syncing with your cycle, I definitely don't think you need to be anymore. And that's my hot take. You can still bring that better body understanding of like digestion. Your digestion is slower in the latter half of your cycle. So in luteal, if salads and things just don't sit right for you right now, that doesn't mean come follicular, it's not gonna digest well, because that's just the science of digestion when menstrual phase is about to start. So I guess I do still carry some of that cycle syncing information with me, but it's just not as rigid as what it used to be. I definitely will eat cold chicken salad if that's what I have prepped for my lunches for the week, even though it's not technically good to eat something cold during menstrual phase, for example. I'll still be fine, you know? So I'm not much help with cycle syncing anymore, guys, because I just don't do a whole lot of it anymore. I really don't. I really, really, really don't. And then the next question is, what are you wearing to work? I miss your outfit ideas. And this actually makes me smile because one, I do still like to invest in pieces and look put together, but also I work in a very casual, male dominated industry / casual office. So I'm not going to wear anything crazy to the office. I also want to stay in my style of polished, professional, put together, chic. Like, I definitely want to maintain my classic style because what I learned before even starting this job is how you present yourself matters, not just to how you're perceived, but how you want to show up. And that's different for everybody. That's unique to everybody. That's why we all have different senses of style. But I have now figured out pieces that I really, really, really love. And I'm an outfit repeater. Like, my outfits for work are the same in rotation, just like my outfits on the weekend are in the same in rotation. So Fridays, I do not go into the office, and I am wearing something today that I wear almost every Friday. I have a pair of linen shorts on, a white tank top, and a denim button up over top. I wear my denim button ups, yes, plural, a lot. I've really liked wearing linen pants to the office this summer. I have a black pair, a green pair, and a navy pair. I'll pair that with different knitted sweater tops. I've been really liking the knitted sweater tops, even though those are tank tops, and like tank tops aren't necessarily office professional, but on the hot days, I make an exception for myself because I do sweat from my armpits. So sometimes I need to wear something sleeveless so I don't get stinky. Okay. I have a couple very lightweight sweater t-shirts, so I'll wear those with jeans, dark jeans that obviously don't have holes in them. I have a really cute pair of green barrel jeans that I wear once, if not twice a week at the office, whether that's, did I say they were green? They're like an olive green denim material barrel jean, and so I will wear that with even like a black shirt, or I will wear it with one of my knitted sweater tops. And so I would actually love to share some of the outfits that I wear during the week, but I also work in a place that's totally appropriate to wear a pair of jeans, a branded work t-shirt, and tennis shoes. So I think this summer I've done a pretty good job at my work office wear. And you guys, this is so weird of my brain and such a quirk that, like, I kind of started this rule of thumb where 2 days a week I will wear work branded like merch or attire, whether that be a little jacket or one of the t-shirts that I have. And then the other 2 days I am wearing not branded things because we don't have to wear something branded every single day. And that just makes my brain easy, like 2 and 2, because I'm in the office 4 days a week. But I would love to share. I'm actually already starting thinking about what fall pieces that I need. And I just ordered a new pair of brown shoes. They don't have a heel on them, but they're also not a work boot. They're kind of more like a Chelsea boot, I would say, that I could wear because I got rid of my Chelsea boots. I heard a TikToker say Chelsea boots are out, throw them out. And that was before I got this job. And then when I got this job, I was like, my Chelsea boots would be so perfect for this because it's like the cross between a boot and a tennis shoe, and they're very comfortable. So I actually just ordered a new brown boot today. I am watching TikToks that are like what the fashion trends for fall will be. I am of the type that I think every season getting a few things to update your wardrobe is necessary. Like, I think, ladies, don't wait until you lose weight. Don't wait until you've like, I was starting to invest in clothing pieces when I worked from home and I never left home. And now I do have an office to go to, and that mentality of like saving things for an occasion, it's like every day is an occasion. Wear the outfit, get the outfit, because actually a lot of clothes are made for comfort now. So no, you don't have to suffer and wear uncomfortable pants. You can find a cute pair of pants that's also comfortable. So going into fall, I'm thinking about what I have that I already like. I have jeans that work for me in this size. I have a pair of brown like work pants that work for me in this size. My black, I want to update those. And then I think about what I want to update it with. And I'm also hearing like the trends that are going on. Also, you know, just thinking about, are there basic pieces that I need to update? I often buy a new white t-shirt every single new season because a great crisp white t-shirt is a great piece to have. One of the trends that I think is going to be for sweaters come this fall that I'm already on the lookout for is a tie belt sweater. So it really kind of looks like a comfortable loose cardigan, but you have the tie belt to cinch yourself in at the waist. So you're not having this cardigan. So if you've saved any of these, because this is not a new style, I haven't had any cardigans like this, and I've never, but I know obviously this is something that some of you might have in your closet. Just know, like, this is going to be a piece that you want to wear on repeat this summer or this fall, because that cardigan, that material of an open cardigan, just, to me, I've never been like a cardigan person, but I love the idea of having the tie belt because then it cinches you in at the waist. It doesn't look like this big long block hanging off of you. And then it's kind of like a robe. That's, I think, why I love it, because at the end of the day, Joelle loves a robe. If you haven't been around long enough to know, something about me, my favorite things ever is my robes. I have a gray thick robe that's for my cold, when I need to be warm robe. I have a thin like muslin cotton robe that I wear after I get out of the shower so I don't get too hot when I'm getting ready. And I also don't get, or does, it's a little bit thicker so it doesn't, I don't get too cold. Why was that hard to say? And then I have a really thin black robe for when it's hot. Like I have 3 robes, and I'm very particular about having these 3 types of robes all the time. My boys now love their robes. My oldest asked me for a robe and he's obsessed with it. My youngest is going to be getting a robe, and I'm a proud mom for that. And so that's what this cardigan kind of reminds me of. But the silhouette of it is going to hit more at the hip. So you could get, if you have some of the long like duster ones still, I think you could really make those work. But the ones that will be on trend for this fall will be hitting more at the hip. So I can see myself literally once a week wearing this outfit where it's like my brown, they're not booties because like I said, there's no heel on them, but like a brown Chelsea boot, a straight leg jean, and then this like cardigan that has a belted waist that hits and ends like right at the hips. Throw on some jewelry, you're good to go. And comfy, cozy, styled, put together. And you want to match, like my ideal is getting a brown cardigan with a belt. I'm explaining this way too much in detail. Some of you are probably so bored. But brown, and then wearing a brown like scoop neck tank top underneath it. If you get a black sweater, wear a black, like try to match. So then we're not doing that like color blocking. In my opinion, you could also do navy, like a navy tank top and a navy cardigan, like doing a little bit more of that like color blocking, or not color blocking. I mean, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, but my brain is already thinking about fall fashion, because here in Minnesota, yes, it is hot right now, but it gets cold quick. And I remember even thinking about that with the kids back to school shopping. Yes, likely when they go back to school for a couple weeks, it'll still be hot, but it drops very quickly, like end of September, which happens so fast. So I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be prepared. So thank you so much for listening to this rambling nonsense, my friend. I know that it was long, partially because we haven't talked in so long. The podcast platform renews in October, and I have not decided if I'm going to renew it yet or not. I've had this podcast since 2018. And it would feel so crazy for it to not be here anymore. But also, I don't know what to talk about. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not saying I'm an expert. I'm not teaching on anything. I just truly yap. And I don't even know. I mean, you could probably even tell throughout this podcast episode, like I obviously still am very much an open book, but there are details about my life where I'm like, do I really want to be putting that out there? For example, if you go back and listen to when I was talking about the time of day that my husband gets home, the exact time almost came out my mouth, but in my head I thought, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say a couple of the details that prior me probably would have. Prior me probably would have been like, yeah, I'm going to share that and talk about this and in specific detail down to the minute and the time and the frame and the who, the what, the where, and the why. And now I'm like, I don't know if I want to share that kind of stuff anymore. So I don't know what we would talk about. Like, would we just come on here and talk about like what we're watching, what we're reading, products that I love? Am I finding good fashion finds? And you know, you could share with me on social media questions or like girl talk type of stuff. I don't know. But also I'm like, well, I do feel like this career for me is a chapter 1. And I don't know what will be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, but I do see myself growing professionally in an entirely new industry. And this chapter 1 that I'm in, I am in an entirely new industry. Like it is something so brand new to me, and I don't know what chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know, but I know I want to grow. I know I want to professionally develop. I know I want to be excellent. Like I know I want to be excellent. And that brings up another thing that we could totally go there and talk about. So I will have another podcast out for you. That one will be heavy on ego because that's part of the imperfection that I feel like I have grown through in the entrepreneurship versus what I'm doing now is I have had to battle my ego, shush my ego, and also suffocate my ego in a lot of ways. Like a lot of ways. We should have gotten into that on this episode, but I am in a humble beginning. And also I believe in my capability to learn and to try and to grow, and I want to do that. And I'm in a chapter 1. And that feels exciting. That feels really, really, really exciting. And also kind of crazy because it's like we want to know how the story goes, right? Like sometimes we just want to know like, okay, I could be here and do this and then do that and then do this and move and shake and shift and whatever. But I'm not expecting that. But I do know in my heart, like I am somebody that works hard. I am somebody that tries. I am somebody that is trusted to get things done. I am self-motivated. I am driven. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to understand. And it's a cool season of life to be in. And if I had gone back in time to my 27-year-old self, even 25-year-old self that was in like the girl boss era and all of that, and be like, this is what your life is going to be like in over 10 years, I would say, nah, Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh, because I was so indoctrinated. I was so group thinked. That's what I was looking for, was so group thinked that I would have said, no way, not me. Not this girl boss. And it's like, oh, but I'm happy and it's worth it. It's a really cool season to be in. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a good one. Bye, friend.